Good morning. Today we are going to discuss about the characters of superclass Gnathostomata. Now, what does this name indicate? Gnathostomata. Gnathos means jaws and stoma is mouth. There are two jaws surrounding the mouth opening, and these jaws help them to feed on different types of food, and most of them are predaceous in nature. Now, gnathostomes are characterized by the presence of not only jaws, but you find there are three semicircular canals in each internal ear. Apart from which, you find the gonads always are provided with gonads. This superclass includes Pisces and these tetrapods. Now, what are Pisces? Pisces, as the name indicates, is derived from a Latin word meaning fishes. So, this particular group includes all the fishes which have originated from the jawless fishes which are called as the agnathans. Ostracoderms, which are extinct agnathans, gave rise to these fishes, the living fishes, in the Silurian period. And in the Devonian period, you find that diversification of the living fishes occurred, both the cartilaginous and the bony fishes, and that period is called as the golden period of fishes, and that period is the Devonian period. The study of fishes is called ichthyology. Ichthys meaning fish, logos the study of. Now we go on to the general characters of fishes. Fishes are characterized by the presence of a body which can be divided into three regions: head, trunk and tail. Now let's take up the different structures which are present in the body. Now, head is characterized by the presence of a mouth opening which can be seen either on the ventral side as in cartilaginous fishes, or it can be terminal as in the case of bony fishes. And you find well-developed eyes are present on the lateral sides of the head, and a pair of nostrils called external nostrils which in turn will lead into the internal nostrils. The trunk is characterized by the presence of paired appendages. Now, these paired appendages are in the form of paired fins. The anterior fins are called as the pectoral fins, present in the anterior region of the trunk, and a pair of pelvic fins which are located at the posterior region of the trunk. Unpaired fins like the dorsal fin, the ventral fin, and the caudal fins are present. Now we go on to the tail. The tail is a powerful organ in fishes as it helps in locomotion. Now let's go on to the appendages which help in locomotion. Now these fins are supported by skeletal fin rays. Now these fin rays will help the fishes to keep the fins expanded so that they push the water backwards during swimming. In case of the cartilaginous fishes, you find that there is an additional pair of structures associated with the pelvic fins which are located at the posterior region of the body, and they are called as claspers which help in copulation. They are seen only in the male's fishes. Now we go on to the next important character of the fishes, that is the exoskeleton. The outer protective covering of the body is in the form of scales which are mesodermal in origin. Now these scales are of different types. In case of cartilaginous fishes, they are called as the placoid scales, and in case of bony fishes, you find they are of different types depending upon the surface, the uppermost surface or the superficial layer of substance by which it is formed. They can be in the form of cosmoid scales as seen in the living fossil, because it is made up of a calcareous hard substance which is called cosmoid, or it can be a ganoid scale where you find the outer calcareous substance is called as ganoid, and depending on the shape they can also be called as ctenoid or cycloid scales. In ctenoid scales you find there are serrations which are seen on the exposed part of the scale, and such scales are called as the ctenoid scales. In case of cycloid scales, that the scale has an even surface and is devoid of the serrations which you find in a ctenoid scale. Now, these outroots which constitute the exoskeleton forms of protection for the body, and they all are mesodermal in origin in fishes. Now we go on to the next important character, that is the paired appendages. As I've already discussed, the paired appendages are a pair of pectoral fins and a pelvic fins located in the anterior and posterior regions of the body. And apart from them, you find unpaired fins like the dorsal, the ventral and the caudal fins, which is present surrounding the tail region. Now we go on to the endoskeleton. Endoskeleton here you find is either bony or cartilaginous in nature, depending on whether the fish is a bony fish or a cartilaginous fish. In case of bony fishes, the endoskeleton is completely bony in nature, and in cartilaginous fishes you find the endoskeleton is completely cartilaginous in nature. Now, under endoskeleton, we also discuss about the type of skull you find in fishes. The skull here is called monocondylic skull. In that, mono is single and condyle is the presence of a single occipital condyle. So, as there is only a single occipital condyle, the skull is called as a monocondylic skull. Next, we go on to the type of vertebrae you find in fishes. The type of vertebrae you find here is the amphicoelous vertebrae. What do you understand by amphicoelous? Amphi meaning double. At the anterior and at the posterior end, coelous, a cavity is present. So two cavities are present, one at the anterior end and one at the posterior end. Therefore, the vertebrae is called as amphicoelous vertebrae. Now, where are these cavities located? On the body of the center of the vertebrae, which you call it as the centrum. So, amphicoelous vertebrae is a characteristic feature of fishes. Next, we go on to the digestive system. The digestive system is a complete system in case of the fishes, and the only difference between the cartilaginous and the bony fishes is the location of the mouth opening. In cartilaginous fishes, you find it is located on the lateral side, and in bony fishes, you find it is a terminal opening. And in cartilaginous fishes, you find a scroll valve or a spiral valve present in the intestine to help in increasing the surface area for absorption of digested food, whereas this scroll valve is absent in the bony fishes. In both, you find a cloacal aperture present through which the undigested food is sent out of the body. The next system is the respiratory system. Respiration here is by gills, and you find that the gills, their number varies in cartilaginous and bony fishes. The number of gills in case of cartilaginous fishes is more when compared to the bony fishes. Cartilaginous fishes have 4 to 7 pairs of external gills, whereas bony fishes have only 4 pairs of gills. Now, we find that a gill-lid or operculum is seen covering these gills only in the bony fishes and is absent in cartilaginous fishes. Now, when we go to the accessory respiratory organs, which help them to either in buoyancy or as a hydrostatic organ or as an additional respiratory structure, you find that these accessory respiratory organs, be it to help in buoyancy or to help in respiration, are absent in the cartilaginous fishes, which are called as the chondric gills. As a result of the absence of these accessory respiratory organs in cartilaginous fishes, you find they always have to swim in the water and use a lot of energy to be found floating in the water. Now, this is about the respiratory system. Now we go on to the nervous system. The nervous system here is well-developed brain present, which is divided into the forebrain, the midbrain and the hindbrain. 3 regions, the forebrain, the midbrain and the hindbrain, and you find the number of pairs of cranial nerves fishes is 10 pairs of cranial nerves. Only 10 pairs are present, therefore they come under a group called an amniota. An amniota not only is devoid of the fetal membranes, but you find only 10 pairs of cranial nerves are present. Now we go on to the outer protective coverings present surrounding the brain, and in case of fishes you find there is only one protective covering called meninx primitiva, which covers the brain, when compared to the mammals where you find outer dura mater, middle arachnoid membrane and inner vascular pia mater present. Therefore, in fishes you find there is only one membrane covering the brain, and it is called meninx primitiva. Now we go on to the next system, which is called as the sense organs. Now, well-developed eyes are present to help in acting as photoreceptors. Then you find that the best sense organ which is developed here is called as the lateral line sense organ system, where you find lateral line. They call it the lateral line sense organs because they are located on the lateral sides of the body. They are fluid-filled, elongated canals lined by sensory epithelium and helps in adjusting the equilibrium when the water is disturbed as a result of huge waves. So they act as what is called as rheoreceptors, that is, they respond to the intensity of the waves which cause disturbances in water. They are also called as the rheomast organs. These are present in all the fishes. The next system is the excretory system. Excretory system is characterized by the presence of well-developed kidneys, which are called as the mesonephros kidney. And the nitrogenous waste here you find is in the form of ammonia if they are freshwater fishes, or in the form of urea as in the marine fishes. And when the nitrogenous waste is in the form of ammonia, you call these fishes as ammonotelic animals. And if the nitrogenous waste is urea as seen in the cartilaginous fishes, then you call them as ureotelic animals or fishes. Then we go on to the reproductive system. You find sexes are separate and most of the females are oviparous. In the sense they are egg-laying fishes, whereas cartilaginous fishes are viviparous in nature and they give birth to young fishes. Lastly, these fishes are cold-blooded animals, therefore we call them as poikilothermic animals. Now we go on to the classification of fishes, where you find they are broadly divided into the cartilaginous fishes called the chondrichthyes and the bony fishes called the osteichthyes. Now the characters of the cartilaginous fishes. The cartilaginous fishes have an exoskeleton of placoid scales. This exoskeleton of placoid scales is also called as the dermal denticles and are characterized by the presence of a trident spine. There are three projections seen on the scale, therefore it is called as a trident spine. Now, they are embedded in the mesoderm, therefore when you look at the scale, it looks as if scales are absent. But you find placoid scales covering the entire body. Now we go on to the appendages, paired appendages. As I mentioned earlier, pectoral and pelvic fins arising from the anterior and posterior regions of the trunk constitute the paired fins. And you find a single dorsal fin is present in cartilaginous fishes. A single ventral fin is also present, and you find the tail fin here is of a type called heterocircle tail fin. A heterocircle tail fin has an upper dorsal lobe which is larger when compared to a ventral lobe which is smaller. And because of dissimilarity in these two lobes, the caudal fin is called as heterocircle type in cartilaginous fishes. Then we go on to the digestive system. I have already repeated in the general characters that the mouth aperture is located ventrally, and you find that the small intestine has a scroll valve or a spiral valve, which is formed by the inner epithelium, which is rolled in a clockwise or anti-clockwise direction to help in increasing the surface area for absorption of the digested food. Then we go to the next system, that is the respiratory system, where you find 5 to 8 pairs of gill slits are present, and they lead internally into highly vascular gills to help in respiration. Gill cover, which is always present covering the gills seen in the bony fishes, is absent here. Accessory respiratory organs too, which either help in respiration or in buoyancy, are also absent. Now we go on to the reproductive system. Here in the reproductive system you find sexes are separate, distinct sexual dimorphism is seen externally because at the region of the pelvic fins, in case of males, you find a pair of rod-like structures are present, and they are called as the claspers to help in copulation. These claspers are absent in female fishes. And you find that females are viviparous here. Most of them are viviparous, very few are egg-laying, and you find that they give birth to young ones. Now, these cartilaginous fishes which belong to the class of chondrichthyes are exclusively marine forms. Now, what do you understand by chondrin? You already studied in animal tissues that chondrin refers to cartilage, and ichthys is a fish. So, chondrichthyes indicates that this particular class includes only the cartilaginous fishes found exclusively in marine waters. So what are the different examples of these cartilaginous fishes? The first one, the one we see here on the board, is scoliodon, which is commonly called as the dogfish. In other words, it is the shark, a common shark. Now, why is it commonly called as a dogfish? It is called as a dogfish because it has a keen sense of smell. That is why it is called as a dogfish. Now, the next example is torpedo, which is commonly called as the electric ray. Why is it called as the electric ray? You find that on this body are a pair of bean-shaped or kidney-shaped electric organs which are modified muscles, and they are capable of inflicting electric shock either to a prey or to a predator. These are seen in torpedo, which is commonly called as the electric ray. Now, in electric rays, you can see that the body is dorsoventrally flattened and not spindle shaped, and you find that these are the pelvic fins, pectoral fins are found on the lateral sides of the body, and caudal fin is present covering the tail. Now, you have to remember why it is commonly called as electric ray, due to presence of electric organs which are modified muscles. The next example is priestes. Priestes, which is commonly called as sawfish. You can see here the two jaws are prolonged to form a long rostrum, and there you find serrations are seen. That is why it is commonly called as a sawfish. The next one is trigon or daciatus. This is commonly called as the stingray, and you find at the tip of this tail is a sting, and that is the reason why it is called as a stingray. Have you heard about the famous crocodile man Steve Irwin? He was stung by the stingray and caused his death. Next, we go on to Swedna or Zygana, as it is called, commonly called as the hammer-headed shark. Now, if you look at the head, you find a hammer-like structure with the eyes located at either end. This hammer-headed shark is called as such because you can see hammer-shaped modification of the head. Next, we go on to the largest of the living sharks, that is Carcharodon, commonly called as the white shark. It measures a length of 20 meters. Now we go to characters of class Osteichthyes, that which includes the bony fishes. Austin, again you are familiar with Austin. Austin means bone, ichthys is the study. So the study of bony fishes is called Osteichthyes, and we come first to the shape of the body and then the other details in comparison with that of the cartilaginous fishes. Now here you find the body is spindle shaped in labio, which is commonly called as rohu, which is an edible fish. Now here you can see that the body is divided into the head, trunk and tail, and this body is covered by scales which are cycloid scales. That is the scales which have a even surface on the exposed part of the scale. And in Osteichthyes you find the scales can be cycloid, ctenoid, gyanoid or osmoid, as seen in the living representative, that living fossil rather, which is called as Latimelia chalinae. Now we go to the paired appendages. Paired appendages here are a pair of pectoral fins present at the anterior end of the body and pelvic fins located at the posterior end of the body, and you can see dorsal fin on the dorsal side, ventral fin on the ventral side and caudal fin. Now look at this caudal fin and compare it with that of the cartilaginous fishes. In cartilaginous fishes it is called as a heterocercal type, where the dorsal lobe of the fin was longer when compared to the ventral lobe, whereas here you find that the two lobes, the dorsal and the ventral lobes, are equal externally, whereas internally they are unequal because the vertebral column is bent upwards. So such a type of fin is called as a homocircle fin. In most of the bony fishes you find the caudal fin is homocircle type, whereas in the lung fishes you find it is called as difficircle type, where you find externally and internally it is divided into two equal lobes. Then we go to the digestive system. Now the digestive system here includes mouth, which is located terminally. In cartilaginous fishes it was located ventrally, whereas here it is located terminally. And in the small intestine you find absence of the spiral valve or the scroll valve as it is called, and you find the digestive system opens to the outside through the cloacal opening. Next we go to the respiratory system. You don't find more than 4 pairs of gills, and these gills are covered by a gill lid or operculum. If you just open it, it is in the form of flap, and when you open it, you can see reddish gills which are highly supplied by blood. So not more than 4 pairs of gill slits are present, and in freshwater bony fishes you find accessory respiratory organs which act as the lungs for respiration as seen in the lungfishes, or to help in maintaining buoyancy as seen in the ray fin fishes, which are called as the actinopterygians, where most of them are freshwater forms. Then we go to the next system, that would be the reproductive system. In the reproductive system you find the sexes are separate and absence of claspers in the males, and most of the females are oviparous in nature, that is they are egg laying. And you find that the Osteichthyes members are found in fresh waters, on land and also in marine waters. Now what do you mean by on land? When drying up of the freshwater pools, ponds and ditches occur, you find these fishes undergo estivation, that is the summer sleep, where you find they bury themselves in the moist soil and undergo a period of dormancy, that is called as estivation, and they take in the atmospheric air for respiration. Now we go to the various examples. The first one, as I made a mention here, is labio, which is edible fish and commonly called as rohu, a freshwater fish. Next we go on to Exocetus, which is a marine fish, and Here you find, it's commonly called as a flying fish, and you can see the fish gliding on the surface of the water, and the modification of the pectoral fins into wing-like structures help them to glide on the surface of water. The next marine fish is hippocampus. Hippocampus is commonly called as seahorse, and it is called as a seahorse because you can see the head is modified into a horse's head shape, and you can clearly see the shape of the head as that of a horse's head. And this fish is unique in that you find on the ventral side of the body in males a brood pouch is present where brooding of the eggs occur in the males. Generally it is the females which brood the eggs, whereas in hippocampus it is the males which brood the eggs. And this fish is the only fish which can swim vertically upwards, and you find the tail is prehensile in that it clings to the seaweeds found in the oceans. Next we go to betta splendens, which is called as the fighting fish. The next fish is pterophyton, which is commonly called as the angel fish. These are the important examples given under class Osteichthyes in your textbook, which should be on your fingerprints. Thank you.